again, I don't remember what I wrote. Um, I've been selling on eBay for this is my 23rd year experience that I do. I don't mean to brag by any means, but I've learned so much in the last year just by
Yeah.
talking to other people in the industry that I have so much. Everybody calls it street credit. I have so much experience. So it was really at that point that I realized I don't want to go back to work for corporate America, if you will. I want to do this on my own. I want to take everything I've learned and bet on myself. So here I am.
And is your specialty the listings? Is it SEO on the listings, or what's
Everything.
kind of been your key to your success? Oh,
I
everything.
I,
Okay.
I don't my to me, I've tried to pinpoint it. I mean, the key to my
Mm.
success is I know how to write a good description, which falls into the SEO. I I've learned everything on my own. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I never went to college. I basically started selling sports cards when I was 13 and have been selling something ever since. I'm self-taught. I just
Are you saying sports cars or cards?
cards.
Oh, I
Sorry.
was like 13. You couldn't even drive, and you're selling
No,
Ferraris. I was like,
cards.
that's impressive.
No,
Ron, you're onto
cards.
something.
No, cards. I wish cards. Um, it just, I don't know. I guess I'm just self-taught. I'm a quick learner. When I dive into something, I dive in 120%, and until I understand it. And I've never, I guess I can honestly say, I sit here and say I've never considered myself one of those know-it-alls. I'm still a student of the game because, as you guys probably know too, things that we used to do 6 months ago, you don't do today.
Right.
Everything's constantly changing more now than ever. A couple weeks, then I really started to and contact my inner circle, as I call it, of people in the industry
Yeah.
and friends that know the career minded, understand what like-minded people, e-commerce, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And they all told me the same thing. I mean, and they've all told me the same thing for years as well, because they've seen the success that I was having early with Rotor.
Yeah.
They're like, you just need to quit your day job. Well, that's easier said than done. I mean, I'm
Of
sure
course.
everybody knows that. So, and it was really at that time, after about 2 months of sitting around the house, I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go all in.
And so I know you said you started that Facebook page, but was sourcing product an issue? Did you already have your suppliers for that? And
Yeah, I mean, so I was only doing motors for the first 6 months of the business. And what I realized is that I was gaining people's trust. And if you can imagine, they were sending me their motors and cash in a box. Let's just leave it at that. I wasn't asking them to PayPal me the money, only if they wanted to and they didn't feel comfortable sending cash. So here they are, they're sending me, their possessions, their motors, sometimes 3 or 4 at a time. And when, you're talking $400 or $500 in value plus cash on top of that.
Yeah.
So I was gaining their trust. And at the same time, when the motors were done, they would say, well, what battery do you recommend? What speed control do you recommend? Well, of course I'm going to tell them what I run, what I know. But at the same time, I'm thinking in the back of my head, all I'm doing is sending business somewhere else. So
Right.
that's when I really, really had to get serious about the business. And I created an LLC because now I'm going to have batteries in my garage, and I'm going to be selling batteries, liabilities and stuff. So I created an LLC, and then I started applying to different distributors in the industry, different motor manufacturers in the industry that I probably wouldn't have reached out to otherwise, because I had already had connections with a couple manufacturers for them just on the motor side.
then how have you grown your base? Obviously, in their 20 plus years of being in the parts, but how did you, I guess, grow it? I mean, was a Facebook page enough, for other
No,
RC enthusiasts to find you, or?
no, not really. A lot of word of mouth. And to this day, I really don't spend a whole lot of money on advertising. When I say that, I'm talking $100 a month, if that. Um, I got into Facebook groups, that, would have 3 or 4 thousand hobbyists, if you will.
Yeah.
And I would get with the moderators and say, look, let's do a like and share type of thing, whatever the case may be, and I'll give away a motor, or I'll give away a speed control, or whatever the case may be. And in some cases, I had to give the moderators some stuff. That's all they
Yeah.
wanted, was they wanted a piece of the action, because it's their group. Really, that helped grow. Just a lot of word of mouth. I mean, the recommendations on Facebook. Once I got the website going, and then having reviews was huge. Just posting pictures of people's success. I tell this story like early on a Saturday night when you don't want bothered, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you got a business, there's no such thing as not being bothered. But Saturday night out eating dinner or out having a good time or whatever, you look at your phone and you got a message from someone you don't even know in Kansas that just won a race with your motor,
Yeah.
and they're just super happy. So it was a lot of that, because they feel, I feel people still need handheld. And I hate to even use that word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They need that extra instruction. They like the idea of talking to a person and not a corporation, that personal touch. And I offer that.
Are people calling you? Are they literally calling? Is it just email or Facebook messages?
It's email, Facebook messages.
Okay.
No, God, no. If I gave out my phone number, it would never stop ringing. In fact, somebody figured out my phone number, and it's out there in Google. I need to figure out how to get that off there.
Yeah, and am I looking at your hands like in the tips and tricks on how to, I guess, clean the batteries and maintain your motor?
Yeah, those are my hands. Yeah.
Those are your hands. To our listeners, if you go to rotoron.com, I'm just impressed that, one, you're greeted by, a cartoon version of you that, man,
Yeah.
this is lifelike. It looks like you. Very good job. Number one. But two, when you talk about how personalized it is and what you said, it's kind of the anti-Amazon view. It's that you're not talking to a bot. You're talking to Ron. Like, the site's named after you, looks like you. I'm seeing your hands, on the maintenance and tips.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I was just looking at the top of the page myself. So like that sprint car that at the very top of the page.
Yeah.
The yellow car, that's actually a really good friend of mine.
Nice.
I try to incorporate things in my life, I try to help people. I try to, I struggle for words sometimes, so you have to apologize. I apologize.
No worries. So in your last year of success, you have lots of success, but really growing the site. Is there any regret, or you've been like, you know what, I should have used, WordPress instead of, some other website builder? Or
no, I've stuck with WordPress. I've taken a lot of flack over it. So when I wanted a website, again, I kept everything in the RC industry. So I went into Facebook groups, and those same groups that were supporting me, I wanted to support them in return. So I started asking, is there anybody in this group that does websites, and is an RC racer too? So I found one in Vegas, and he was good, but I mean, I quickly outgrew him.
Got it.
So regrets. The only regret I truly have about Rotoron is that I didn't listen to all them people that I trust.
Yeah.
And I didn't quit my day job a couple of years before, I was let go.
Okay. So to the budding entrepreneurs out there, when your friends and family are telling you to jump, you got to jump. You got to jump. Make the leap.
Right.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other questions from the team?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Ron, what other advice do you have for any budding e-commerce entrepreneurs? Any nuggets of wisdom?
Well, I'm a big fan of trying things. Throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. If you throw 20 things against the wall, eventually you'll find a couple that stick, and you'll find one really, really good one that will, take you to the next level, if you will.
Agreed.
Very good. Thank you.
What plans do you have, Ron, for the next couple of years? Are you thinking of taking on any
new projects with Rotor, Ron, or expanding in some way?
Well, I moved the business in December to a different location, took it out of my garage. I'm currently in a building that I signed a multi-year lease in. I'll have a retail store out front by the end of the year.
Awesome.
It's currently being designed. You know, I've got tons of warehouse space now, you know, to expand my inventory and shipping capabilities and all that. When I do go to the next level, you know, as far as the retail store, then I can reach out to other distributors in the business. So some of these distributors are still in kind of the old school mentality. You know, they want a brick and mortar store, which kind of goes against everything in retail, right? But you know, it's that age old thing of a hobby shop.
Yeah.
You know, the hobby shop's been around for years, and that's where you kind of gather and, you know, you can tinker with other hobbyists, that kind of thing. So I kind of get that.
Well, it's very exciting. So glad to see that you've had success and yeah, just finally went for it and it's all paying off for you now.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Go, Ron, go. Go, Ron, go. So we wanted to put a little more fuel in your batteries. You know, we were touched by hearing your story in the Thrive campaign, you know, really seeing, you know, that transition for, you know, when people lose their jobs, it usually is just very much a down moment. And some people pick themselves up and some don't. And you've obviously shown that you were resilient. You had the drive, the desire really to build out your site, build out a successful business. You know, congratulations on that new office, getting it out of the garage. And we wanted to go ahead and award you with $2,021. You're our ground winner of the Thrive contest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
I kind of really don't know what to say, but thank you.
Balloons are falling from the sky. Your motors will go a little bit faster now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations, Ron. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us.